Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to season number 2 of 2018. You didn't really think we were going to kill it off, did you? Dirt Night returns, and we have an all-new lineup. Rallycross is going to come back in its traditional slot, I think, as everybody knows. But now, opening up the show, we have the iRacing Dirt Midget Cup. Midgets, very, very fun race cars, part of American racing history. Pretty much everyone who's anyone has run these cars at some point. Before we bring in my co-commentator for this season for the dirt stuff, first can be joined for a little plug from Mr. Will Vincent. Will, World Championship Grand Prix Series tomorrow morning. What are you watching for?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Martin Kroenke has the ability to make history, overtaking Gregor Hutu's most wins in a row. Anyone who watched the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series in 2017 will have known that Martin Kroenke won every single race. But now he has a chance to basically give himself a seat at the immortality table. But there's so much going on. FAG2 Racing, Fernando Alonso's team, making his entrance in the World Championship Series. So much more. Oh, Randy, we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow.
We really don't. And we don't have any idea of what is going to happen tonight as we kick off Dirt Night here on Racespot TV as well as iRacingLive. And one thing, Will, I know you know this. You, from your history in Finland and with the Glacier guys, we have some Finnish guys that really love running this non-wing stuff. Timo Taika from Finland, he's running the Midget, and I believe we're expecting one Petteri Katavara to be making an appearance later tonight in the USAC 360 car. So it's going to be fun seeing what those international drivers can do here in some good old American open wheel racing.
Yeah, Petteri Katavara is probably one of the top 100 drivers in terms of the most all-round ability. We've seen him running in GT racing. We've seen him in Grand Prix cars and open wheel cars before. He'll be fantastic to watch. And Timo Taika as well. He's one of those drivers that doesn't always get the recognition he deserves, but he can be fantastic when he's got the right car, the right setup, and both those drivers are going to be fantastic to watch tonight. And, well, Finland, you almost like they're getting themselves ready for the 2018 World Cup of iRacing.
Yeah, I think you're right. Finnish drivers have extraordinary history in American open wheel racing. Markus Niemela, he was an up-and-coming driver, but unfortunately had a career-ending crash at the Paris Auto Speedway a number of years ago, running a 360 non-wing sprint car. Had a brand new axle break on him. But with that, Will, we are going to let you go as we're now actually watching Timo Taika on his qualifying lap. I'm sure you'll be in the chat causing some sort of havoc one way or another. But until tomorrow morning, we'll see you next time.
In a bit.
So now I am joined by Mr. Kris Hohn. And Chris, I know you, much like myself, love the open wheel racing content from the United States. And this non-wing stuff is something special. Kicking it off with the Midgets, 900 pounds, 400 horsepower. How would you describe these things to someone who's never seen them before?
I think the only word that you can use to describe these midgets is wild. You know, like you said, 900 pounds, 400 horsepower. That can lead to a very rough ride, but it can also be very smooth if you do it right. And being gentle is very important in these cars.
Just taking a look right now, as that is the wrong graphic. I'll now bring up the correct graphic. The things that happen here on Racespot TV, as you have Currently Ryan Gordon, who's leading the way with a 13.896. 1 minute left in qualifying for these guys. Austin Selman, 5 thousandths off that 13.901. Anthony Lepresto currently scored in third. Got Cameron Dance, who's currently out there on the racetrack. He's, I believe, coming to the end of his first qualifying time here from Lanier, and he's going to go to a 14.03. So first good time for that number 7 machine, first time through.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Ryan Gordon's time with 13.895. Not far off, like you said, is Austin Summerman. Now the qualifying is over, we are getting ready to roll off for our first heat race.
Heat race number 1 coming at you here on Racespot TV and on iRacingLive. And everything gets ready now to come to a start here for the first time. You can see heat race number 1 coming at you. That is the wrong graphic. I need to learn how to do this thing at some point as these guys are getting ready to hit the field. And it's going to be pretty much straightforward here, Chris. 8 laps. 6 drivers will be the ones transferring. As people building up those revs already on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, 8 laps seems like a short distance, but if you have you either have a bad setup or just a bad race in general, 8 laps can go by very, very slowly. But I think we have a very stacked field of drivers here. I don't think we're going to have any problem taking off 8 laps for these heats.
Yeah, I don't think so whatsoever. So your starting grid for heat race number 1, Ryan Gordon and Joel Berkeley, with Adam Elby as well as Jordan McDonald on row 2, Ben McSweeney and Ray Farlow row 3, Joshua Jewell and Timo Toika row 4, with Satoru Ono and Bradley Cash rounding out the 10-car field here in heat race number 1. So Friday night, dirt night, season number 2 in 2018. Pace laps starting for the first time, and it's one of my favorite things to do at the local track. Chris, who's your pick to win this heat?
I got to go with pole sitter Ryan Gordon. He put a very fast time down in qualifying. He's also starting on the outside, or inside rather. We'll see if he can get up to the top, if the top line is going to be the preferred line, see if he can just take off.
So 8 laps. 6 cars, top 6 finishers will go through to the feature event. iRacing safety truck gets ready to head down towards the safety of pit road, and Ryan Gordon gets no trouble for him getting on that throttle pedal, and he is clear. They're almost 3 abreast through corners number 1 and 2 for the first time. And one of the great things about these midgets is that they are so small and you can run so many different lines on so many of the racetracks here in the United States. Lap number 1 is going to go the way of Ryan Gordon as Joel Berkeley and Adam Elby. They're scrapping for second, and Joel gets halfway set around. Big incident there in the back.
Yeah, it looked like Joel just kind of got it wrong there in the middle of the corner, stood it up on the back wheels, and once you do that, you can either plant it and pray it fixes itself, or you can lift and cost yourself very valuable track position. And looks like he decided to lift, and that cost him dearly.
So riding on board right now with Ryan Gordon from Club Australia, New Zealand, as he works himself off of corner number 2 and down this front straight. When you see the way the drivers have to work here in these little midgets, so busy trying to drive these things half distance now in heat race number 1, lap number 5 of 8, currently getting logged. And that's one of the big things about these cars here, Chris. American drivers all around have come up through the ranks driving these. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart most famously as well. Saw him actually win the Turkey Night Grand Prix at Irwindale a number of years ago. And of course, some of the more recent drivers, Kyle Larson as well as Christopher Bell, all drivers who have cut their teeth in these things. We're 2 to go in heat race number 1.
Yeah, these midgets definitely are a proving ground for some of the best NASCAR drivers, and also other drivers or other series as well, with the IndyCar, with Chad Boat running with them, or running with Indy Lights anyway. But here we are with 1 lap to go. So far, Ryan J. Gordon has a pretty good lead over Adam Elby. See if he can do anything going into turn number 3. Gordon's going to have to make mistakes. So far, flawless off of turn number 4. Heat race number 1 is going to go to Ryan Gordon in the number 10 car.
So Ryan Gordon and Australia take the first win here in the new edition of Friday Dirt Night. And also, just for the record, it's going to be Saturday Dirt Night in the next couple weeks. So keep that in mind. We're going to have a little bit of a scheduling conflict. So it's going to be Saturday Dirt Night next week and the week after. And then for the rest of the season, it will all be Fridays. And note, this was not recorded previously. This is happening right now. So heat race number 1 has come to a close. Ryan Gordon, Adam Elby, Jordan McDonald, Ben McSweeney, Ray Farlow, and Satoru Ono are the 6 drivers that will be transferring their way directly to the feature. Heat race number 2 is getting gridded right now. I want to say familiar name out on the front. Austin Selman on the pole position with Anthony Lopresto in second. Casey Kerwin, Matt McKinney on that row number 2. Cam Dance, Chad Robinson, row 3. Jacob Fields and Justin Thomas, row 4, with John Lopresto and Will Sylvester on row 5 as heat race number 2 now rolls off.
Yeah, Austin Selman put down a second fastest time. He's going to be starting in the preferred spot here, rolling off P1. It's going to be interesting to see if he can hold off Anthony Lopresto. Lopresto obviously very fast in these open wheel cars as well, especially without the wing.
So field will roll itself off. Like you said, no wing on these machines, so it's going to be very, very difficult for these guys, a lot harder, and that's one of the big things. We're going to see it in the sprint cars as well. There's 2 main differences between the sprint cars, the World of Outlaws 410 cars we used to watch, as well as the 360 USAC cars that we'll watch later. We will be sure to talk a lot about that over the course of this evening. Me and Chris will be bringing you the action for that one. But before we get a chance to do that, field rolls itself through 3 and 4 at this 3/8 of a mile Lanier clay oval. And that number 1 of Austin Selman is going to waste no time as well picking up the throttle pedal. We are green in heat race number 2.
Austin Selman getting a great start there. He's already kind of stretching out a little bit, but Anthony Lopresto looking to make that inside work. We're side by side for the lead. A little bit of contact, maybe. That's what those battle bars are for on the inside. Here comes Lopresto, trying to look for a slide job. Can't quite get it done, but he's going to take the inside. Side by side for the lead, going into 3. Trying very hard to make that bottom line work off of turn number 4. He's going to have it. Move Anthony Lopresto up to the lead.
We're riding on board right now with Austin Selman. You see him working, trying to hold on to that second spot, but you have Casey Kerwin, who we're going to hop on board with right now. See him working down to the bottom. Not great of a view as they get these cars very, very sideways. You see him still working the inside of Austin Selman as we switch back to the TV cameras, and still wheel to wheel. Kerwin's going to try to drive up in front of Austin Selman, but no room just yet. Half distance as they roll through 3 and 4, and that 2 machine of Anthony Lopresto is stretching the gap as they're wheel to wheel for second. So off towards 1 and 2, they're going to come 3 laps remaining in this one as they're still fighting for that second spot. Casey Kerwin's going to back out of it here and give it to Austin Selman. That's going to allow Matthew McKinney to potentially hop in here, and they head down the front straightaway in towards 1 and 2. 2 laps remaining in your second heat race, and the 2 car of Lopresto makes a little bit of a mistake. That's going to give Selman an opportunity to get a run up along the top side of the racetrack. Through corners number 3 and 4, white flag will be waving. 1 car of Austin Selman, he wants this bad. He's going to throw it up to the top side of the racetrack, and will he have the drive to get himself down off towards that race lead? Comes wheel to wheel pretty much through corners number 3 and 4. Will he have the momentum? No, he will not. And Anthony Lopresto is going to hold on and win heat race number 2 here on Friday Night Dirt Night 2018 season number 2. 10 cars in that one. Anthony Lopresto, Austin Selman, Casey Kerwin, Matt McKinney, as well as the rest of your drivers, the likes of Cam Dance, Robinson, Fields, Thomas, Lopresto, and Sylvester in that one. But we have heat race, or excuse me, not heat race, consolation race time, B main time. This is going to be a 10-lap race. 4 drivers will transfer to the feature, and this is your starting grid for that. Bradley Cash will be on the pole with Jacob Fields in second, Timu Toika in third, Cam Dance fourth, Joel Berkeley fifth, Will Sylvester sixth, Josh Jewell in seventh, and Justin Thomas will be rounding out the 8th spot. So 8 cars, 4 of them will be transferring their way into the feature event tonight.
Yeah, if I know Justin Thomas, he's always been a very fast driver. I believe he does have a lot of work to do. I feel he's going to make his way back into the main event.
So a lot of drivers, and I think a lot of our fans are going to be keeping an eye, or wanting to keep an eye on that number 17 car of Timo Toika coming from Finland. Always interested to see what the international drivers can get from themselves. You have a driver from Finland and a handful of Australian drivers, as well as Satoru Ono. He is in Asia, given the club name. I'm not exactly sure on the country. I believe he is from Japan, actually, given from what I've seen. We're going to actually ride on board with that Finnish driver here for the start of the B main. So Timo Toika is going to be bringing us from the third spot here to green flag as we ride on board. Green flag is out for the B main. Guys, last chance opportunity to get themselves into the feature event, and Timo's going to throw it down to the bottom as everyone's going to be fighting side by side. And we got a couple cars up in the wall already. That's going to be Will Sylvester as well as Justin Thomas. Their night's going to be done as they're still going to be fighting for other positions. Cameron Dance, he still is going to be leading here out in front as Bradley Cash falls to second with Joel Berkeley and Joshua Jewell. They run as your top four.
Yeah, Bradley Cash seemed to have a great restart, but it looks like he got tapped a little bit in the back bumper, got him a little bit too sideways, something he couldn't quite control, and he fell back one spot. But currently, your leader is Cameron Dance is running that, Cameron Dance, Will Sylvester lap car. Cameron Dance running that middle to high line, running that really well.
So people are just basically cruising here out in front. I wouldn't expect the likes of Cam Dance or Joe Berkeley to start pushing too hard for this one. Bradley Cash and Joshua Jewell, though, they need to worry. They're right now fighting for third and fourth place out there on the racetrack. Top four are the only cars who transfers. So right now, if you're Josh Jewell, you want to pick up a spot because that fifth car in line is the 17 of Timo Toika, and he wants a transfer position. He's one spot away from it right now, and they're half distance right now in this consolation race, and Timo's going to throw it up to the top side and try to make a move on that 18 of Josh Jewell. And look at the run that 17 car is going to get. He's going to try on the bottom in 3 and 4.
Timo Toika with an excellent slide job on Joshua Jewell. Joshua looking for a crossover, going into the corner, running all the way down on the bottom. Not quite with the crossover, but they're side by side off the corner. But the 17 is going to have the run. Looks like Josh Jewell fell back. Oh, but Timo overcooked it just a little bit. That's going to allow Joshua Jewell to catch up just a little.
So Joshua Jewell is right there, 3 laps left. This is the battle we need to watch. This is the difference between starting in the main event and your night ending right here. Gonna be 2 laps to go. Bit of a hiccup out in front. I think that might be with a lap car. Not sure who that is, and that might hold up Timo Toika as they work themselves through corners number 1 and 2. That is the 16 machine, I believe, actually Will Sylvester, as they work themselves down through 3 and 4. Coming to the white. Timo's gonna get held up, and the 4 machine is in this as well of Bradley Cash. So a number of drivers all scrapping for positions, and I'm not exactly sure who's who at this point, but the 17 car, he's gonna throw it up to the top, and I think he's gonna take that third spot away. 18 car finds the inside wall. That was Josh Jewell, so his night's gonna be done, and I think Timo's gonna hold on to that last transfer position here from this consolation race. Couple lap cars, Chris, really getting into the mix of that.
Yeah, you add on with the ever-changing track, and then also the lap cars kind of mixing it up with the leaders. That can cause some very hairy situations. Joshua Jewell, he liked what he was seeing right in front of him with them racing real hard, probably hoping that they'd race a little bit harder, but unfortunately came up a little bit short, tried to throw it in the corner, and ended up nosing the wall, and unfortunately ended his night.
Not sure if we lost Kris or what the deal is, but regardless, field is going to be rolling their way through here on Racespot TV as well as on iRacingLive. Hope you guys are enjoying the midgets as the pace truck comes in, and we are green in the feature event for the iRacing Midget Cup. Ryan Gordon gets out to a nice little lead as everyone is fanning out for second and third place on back. Scraps up and down the field already as Austin Selman's involved in a little bit of a fight. They're 3 wide in the mid-pack. This is why midget racing is so great. Caution, I think, might fly. We have a couple cars. One's upside down. Not sure who that was. Light blue car that I just got a glimpse of. It's the 6 machine of Chad Robinson. Replay of that coming up on your screens.
Yeah, that was quite a slugfest there. Kind of missed a little bit of it, but I did end up seeing Chad Robinson up on his lid. Unfortunately, could not get these cars tipped back over, but that was definitely a slugfest there for the first lap.
So it actually started out in front with the 2 machine. We're going to try to get another look of that. That was Anthony Lepresto, who importantly was actually starting from the outside of that front row. So a competitive name taken out early in this one. We already have a handful of laps scored complete. And that 2 car, as you can see, this is from the start of this. It's going to happen sometime off of corner number 4. They head down the back straightaway here. And let's see what happens to Anthony that ends up with him ending up on his lead. Oh, he slid up into the 10 of your race leader of Ryan Gordon. And, well, 2 car, as far as I can tell, kind of did that to himself as field is going to be rolling around. And I believe the lights on that safety truck are already out. And his single file restarts in this. Not sure what Austin Selman is doing. Austin needs to get it back a little bit in that 1 car, 10 car. Ryan Gordon is the one who completely is in command of this field. I don't know if Austin's playing games or what the deal is, but it's single file restarts in the midget. I think Austin might be still a little bit used to the double file we traditionally see, but pace truck comes in. Lap number 6 of 20 getting logged right here. 15 to go as Ryan Gordon leads the way.
Ryan Gordon with an excellent start. I believe Austin Selman was trying to play a little bit of mind games. Clearly, it did not work that time as Ryan Gordon seems to have gotten a really impressive lead here. And now we see Adam Elby looking to the inside of Austin Selman. Going to be side by side off the corner. Elby trying to make that bottom line work. Can't quite get anything done with Austin Selman running that top just as perfect as he is.
Ryan Gordon has done a good job to break away. You're still seeing stripes here for your tail into your top 10. This is Casey Kerwin as well as Jordan McDonald. They're scrapping it out for positions right now. They swap it, and, well, Casey does, Jordan does a good job getting down to the bottom of Casey, and oh no, Casey's going to get tossed into the outside wall. Caution's going to fly, and Casey's up on his lid and back on his wheels. Thankfully, replay up on your screens.
Yeah, that was just a case of Casey getting wheeled there. It looked like a right rear to left front contact. That's never good in these midgets. Luckily, it wasn't in the sprint cars because that would have been even more catastrophic. So, but he landed on his wheels, so he definitely lucked out there. Not sure if he has any suspension issues from that wild ride there. Got upside down in a huge way.
So yeah, big incident there for Casey Kerwin, and although the car is still rolling, that might very well be the end of his night. Taking a look up and down the field, just going to take a look, see some of our movers and shakers in the top 10. You see in second place, Austin Selman. He is up a couple of spots, as I don't understand why we have the abbreviation graphic when we never use it, Hugo. As Austin Selman, he's up 2 spots. Jordan McDonald's up 1. Big movers, Cam Dance and Joel Berkeley, each up 5. Casey Kerwin, the big loser, though, that he is down 7, as the field is going to continue to roll around. And we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It's been all about Ryan Gordon tonight, hasn't it, Kris?
Yeah, Ryan Gordon's been doing very, very good since the drop of the green flag. He's been getting really good restarts as well. We'll see if this time by, if he can get another great restart. But Austin Selman right there on his tail tank. Pace truck is in. Green flag is out. Gordon not getting that great of a restart as he has been. Austin Selman right there, almost breathing on his left rear tire.
As you can see, they're fanning out 3 wide behind. We're going to ride on board with the driver who's just behind that. Get a nice little view of that one as you can see how busy these racetracks can get. And I think we may have just had a bit of an incident as they're fanning out all over the place. Can't go to onboards on these things because they're so sideways. You can't hardly see anything through the corners. Through corners number 3 and 4, though, for Ray Farlow, as caution's actually going to fly. Let's see,
Adam
where
Elby
was
went
this
for a
one?
huge ride. He was he was upside down all sorts of directions and spun like a top on his lid there. That's gonna prove fatal for his chances.
So taking a look right now, and oh yeah, you're absolutely right. That was the incident I thought I saw, but I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, and all the cars I thought were there when I switched to the TV cameras. So sorry for me about that, but that's going to be the end of it for Adam Elby. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a caution spree in this one here tonight, Chris, but 4 laps remaining still, and the fact that it's single file restarts means that we do take a lap out of the restarts, but man, oh man, these guys need to clean it up. They're starting to look like the World of Outlaw drivers already.
Yeah, these cars definitely aren't the easiest to handle, but yeah, this has been a little bit of a yellow fest, but I believe with the laps ticking down, we may have a pretty good race here because Selman last time didn't let Ryan Gordon get too far out ahead. We'll see if he can time that restart a little bit better, maybe get down to the inside, pull off a huge slide job for the lead.
So let's see what we can make happen. Lights are out on that safety truck. Are these guys good enough to keep it green, or are they not as good as they think they are? 10 machine of Ryan Gordon is going to lead the way as Austin Selman is going to throw it through the middle here. Matt McKinney, Ray Farlow behind. Field all fanning themselves out as they head down the back straightaway. 2 to go at the stripe.
So far it's been all Ryan Gordon. He's running that top with 2 to go at the line, like you said. Austin Selman trying very hard to run right up above that slick going into turn number 3. Now off of turn number 4, we have a white flag. 1 lap to go. Austin Selman trying very hard, diving down to the inside, going into a slick a little bit to help him get the corner. Now off of turn number 2, side by side for the lead, going into turn number 3, looking very huge. Slide job off of turn number 4. Austin Selman looking to steal the win at the line. Couldn't quite get it done. Ryan Gordon taking the win by 0.014 seconds. What an amazing finish to a race that, quite frankly, was not that great until we had that final restart.
It's definitely not the greatest of a race, but it's going to be a good one for Ryan Gordon. As you can see the differential there on your screen, Ryan Gordon over Austin Selman, 1/100th of a second between those two as they end the first leg here on Friday night, Dirt Night. And with that, let's go down your post-race results here from the Midget Cup at Lanier.
Ryan J. Gordon with the win. Second place, Austin Selman did a very good job coming from 4th. Matthew McKinney coming from 8th, getting a 3rd, last place on the podium. Ray Farlow with 4th. 5th place, Cameron Dance. 6th place, Ben McSweeney. 7th place, Joel Berkeley from 14th place. John Lepresto with the 8th place. 9th place will be Timu Toika. 10th place, Bradley Cash.
So that's going to round out your top 10 as we're going to look up the rest of the field. So Satoru Ono, Jordan McDonald, Chad Robinson, Adam Elby, Casey Kerwin, and Anthony Lepresto. Outside of Satoru, all of those drivers involved in incidents in this one tonight. So, first leg of Friday night Dirt Night. Chris, scored complete. Hopefully we can get some guys coming in for the interviews here. But the iRacing Dirt Midget Cup, I'm looking forward to it, but I think some of these guys need to learn how to wheel and they need to check the egos because they're already looking like they're going to be a group that likes to bring out the yellow flag.
Yeah, I mean, these cars are a little bit difficult, but if you have a good setup and if you can dial it in, or if you can just run the baseline setup really well, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. But I think they're just playing too much with the setup and not enough with the nut behind the wheel. They're trying to get every 10th when they need to be working on putting laps together. Not only by themselves, but running with others as well.
Now, talking about these little cars, we're going to be seeing one of the new tracks come out next week for the Midget Cup, running at Lima Land. Of course, we got the dirt track at Charlotte, 4/10 of a mile oval, pretty much a big track. I think, you can kind of expect what to see there. It runs a lot like Volusia if you've yet to do any racing there. But Lima Land, quarter-mile boring, Chris. This is where these little midgets are really going to shine. I mean, I think the 2 best tracks for them probably right now are here at Lanier and then at Lima Land because the cars are so small, the tracks are small. It's not often you see midgets run on the big half-mile ovals in real life.
Yeah, these shorter tracks are definitely going to be where the midgets are really going to be put in the limelight, especially with Lima Land being quarter mile. That's typically a really good size for these midgets. Hopefully, with the addition of the Chili Bowl coming later, we can see some even better even more competitive racing and maybe even some better green flag runs as well.
So that we're going to have a quick interview with a couple of the drivers. I'm going to start it off with Ryan Gordon. Ryan, Midgets, a new addition here to Dirt Night, and you come out, put on a dominating performance to win race number 1. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it's good to pick up my first strength of field win. The Midgets are a good change from the sprint cars last season. They're a bit of a tough thing to drive, but no, good fun.
Now, it's one of those things as well. We got a handful of drivers who used to run the sprint cars, and, well, it kind of showed. We saw a lot of cautions in this main event. Are there some names you're not used to seeing who you think might have a bit of a learning curve with learning these little open-wheel cars?
Yeah, there's a few drivers here that aren't right up there in the sprint cars, but are definitely fast in the midgets. I guess that's what they've been always watching when they were young. But, yeah, no, they're definitely tough to get a handle on, but when you do, it's definitely rewarding.
And so next week out at Limaland, one of the new tracks, one of the 2 new tracks we've gotten along with Charlotte. Quarter-mile track, pretty much what midgets were built to race on, I would say. How have they, in your experience, I'm sure you've tried the new circuit in these cars. How do you like it, and what kind of racing you think we'll see next week?
Yeah, no, the midgets at Limaland are definitely fun, but really tough. You run it right up on the cushion, and there's not much room for error, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for joining us, Ryan. Before we let you go, sponsors, who gets it done for you on that number 10 machine tonight?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Synergy Sim Racing is our team. We've got Trackstar Racewear and the Speedway Shop as our main sponsors. So, thanks.
Well, thank you once again, Ryan, and congratulations on the race win. Mr. Kris Hohn, he's going to be stood by with Austin Selman.
Austin Selman, you finished second place after having a very good race. What more do you think you could have done to catch Ryan Gordon?
Well, probably not start that far behind him in the first place. I messed up my qualifying lap and the heat race there was really bad. So I put myself in a hole, and lucky to give myself a chance to win. That's all you can ask for, and we were 14 thousandths short.
Yeah, coming through that last lap, take us through what it was like to be that close from win just to fall a little bit short.
I didn't know who won because I don't have my intervals and stuff on. I didn't know. I looked to my left as we were crossing the stripe, and his nose was right there, so I had no idea. I had to look after. But I just was trying to, run in there low and get out of the corner as good as I could. So just a little bit short. It was a great battle, though.
All right, team sponsors, who makes it here for you?
Definitely Dirt Collective, Team VLR, Dirt Division. All the guys at VLR, of course, you guys for broadcasting this, off-camera TV, just everybody. So thank you guys.
All right, excellent job, Austin. Congratulations on your second place.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And well, Kris, these little midgets, they definitely delivered on the action-packed racing that we were expecting. Not as green as we would have liked. Hopefully we can get that update to make caution laps not count sometime soon, and then we won't have people playing the fuel games the way that we've been having thus far. But it's an exciting opening round, I think, and Limaland is going to be, I think, really good for these guys.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Limaland, I ran a couple laps at Limaland in the midgets. Running that cushion is a tricky game, especially off turn number 4, because that wall just jumps out in a hurry. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these drivers can deal with that wall jumping out at them, while also running up top, running that cushion.
Well, we got about 10 minutes, so I think this will be a good opportunity to explain to some of the people who may not be quite as aware the difference between the sprint cars we'll be watching later tonight and the sprint cars we're used to seeing here on Racespot TV with the winged 410 World of Outlaws. So for those who are unaware, we're going to be running under USAC rules on Dirt Night this season. So for those who are unaware what that means, the World of Outlaw cars, well, dating back in the 70s, they started putting wings on them, and they started calling them Outlaws, and thus they became the World of Outlaws, is sort of the TLDR of how that one worked. However, sprint cars have run in a non-winged fashion for years. Likes of Gary Bettenhausen, best drivers in the world, Mario Andretti, they cut their teeth driving non-winged sprint cars, and pretty much the formula is mostly unchanged even for the last 50, 60 years. Some rule changes have come in, yes, but the car is very much the same. So we're going to be running the 360s as opposed to 410s. So there's going to be a little bit of a power decrease, but the main thing is going to be, Chris, pretty much no downforce and especially no side force with those big vertical panels on the wings to keep the car straight. It's all going to be on throttle and brake input and wheel input to keep the cars going forward. Very much less to do with in terms of setup and absolutely no aerodynamics.
Oh, absolutely. I believe the non-wing sprint cars definitely bring out the best of all sprint car drivers. You know, you'll see some wing drivers go to non-wing and they won't have much success, but also you will see some non-wing drivers go over to the wing side and not quite have the successes they found. A few drivers who have been able to do that, of course, the late Brian Clausen. Rico Abreu has run his fair share of non-wing cars. Brady Bacon as well, two-time USAC national sprint car champion. Like you said, the biggest difference between the wing cars and the non-wing is the downforce. You can't just chuck it in the corner and know it's going to stick. If you do that, you better be praying to 7 different gods, because those cars are relentless when it comes to driving them very aggressively.
And for those who are unaware, the cars themselves are actually pretty much the same. There'll be some setup differences. You'll have maybe some different shocks, some different spring packages, but for the most part, the cars will actually be exactly the same. And it's not uncommon throughout the United States, Chris, for some guys to essentially drag their non-wing car out of the trailer, put their wings on it, and run it in an outlaw event. A lot of local guys do that throughout the United States whenever the World of Outlaws turn up. In the same way, it's not uncommon to see guys take the wings off their winged cars and run them in non-winged events. That's one of the great things about the sprint car format here in the United States. You get a 360 or a 410, and you can run it in 2 different categories if you have the shock and chassis setup options for it.
Yeah, the wing versus non-wing thing, especially when two are intertwining, you may see one driver go out there with the wing, make his hot laps, or
Brian Clausen famously did that at the King's Royal a couple years ago. Before he passed away, Brian. he ran the USAC race and immediately hopped in an outlaw car and ran.
Yeah, Brian Clausen, one of the best drivers in sprint car history. Kyle Larson's also done that. He's ran the wing cars and the USAC cars for the Four Crown Nationals at Eldora Speedway. He's actually ran the wing sprint cars, non-wing sprint cars, and the midgets, and has found a lot of success running that race in all 4 cars that they run there.
Well, Chris, I think that's going to end here segment number 1. Midgets, like we said, put on a good show, but 360s at Eldora, we've talked about the cars. What do you think we're going to be seeing at Eldora in those 360 non-wing cars? Like you said, the non-wing cars generally are not pin it to the floor and keep it down there, but if there's ever a place you can run a non-wing car just about flat out, it's that high banked track in Ohio.
Yeah, Eldora Speedway is one of the better tracks for getting to learn the non-wing cars, mainly because it doesn't take a whole lot of finesse. Granted, you do have to drive it very carefully as compared to the wing cars, but if you want to learn how to drive a non-wing sprint car, go to Eldora. You can kind of throw it a little bit harder in the corner, it'll back up, and once you get up to that top, just rip the throttle. You can turn some pretty wicked laps there, and I feel like it's going to be very interesting, especially with the new cushion model, and with the rolling back of the surface grip to start the main events. I did a race, I believe it was on Wednesday. One thing that I noticed is the bottom was practically untouched and the top had a little bit of slick, so it was possible to run both grooves. So we'll see if we can get multiple grooves running here as well.
So that is going to do it for us here for the first leg of Friday Night Dirt Night here in 2018 Season 2. Do not go away, because Global Rallycross from Daytona, it kicks off here in about 6 or 7 minutes here on Racespot TV and iRacingLive. And just to reiterate, I said it at the top of the show, Dirt Night for you midget guys will be on Saturday night next week, not Friday night. We have a scheduling conflict, so next week and the week after, we'll be doing it on basically Saturday night Dirt Night for those 2 weeks. It'll be Friday the entire season after. I'll continue to reiterate that throughout the night for the Rallycross guys and, of course, for the sprint car guys as well. But But Global Rallycross at Daytona coming up in just a few minutes, and in about an hour, we will be bringing you the USAC 360 non-wing sprint cars live from Eldora. Do not go away. Be sure to enjoy it.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
In the motorsports department for Mazda North American operations. We are at Bondurant Racing School here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are putting on the Mazda Road to 24 shootout. We started with 14 qualifiers that submitted business plans to us, and from those 14 we narrowed it down to 4. Those qualifiers were Celine Roland, Tyler Casera, John Allen, and Preston Pardis.
for me, the first session was just, you know, the memorization piece of the track. I probably was halfway through the session before I felt like there were 2 or 3 places I could push. Now I knew what was next. I already see some differences in preference of, you know, how people approach certain turns, or certainly the braking into the first chicane is a little bumpy. So there's a lot to learn, but that's part of the fun.
So as a judge, what we're looking for from these drivers is the opportunity that they take the information that we give them. They can then make themselves a better driver on the racetrack, and then we get to see that instantaneously the next session when we go out there. So we can see whether they can listen to us and comprehend what we're saying, put it into practice, and then see the results.
I'm Jonathan Bomarito. I race the Mazda factory RT24P prototype for Mazda in the IMSA series. We've had 4 really impressive guys here today, all going for a $100,000 scholarship to run in the MX5 Cup series next year.
I'm Preston Pardis. I'm from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Actually, I've had iRacing since 2010, so I'm a 5-star gold member on the forums. Nothing like hopping on, you know, with a few buddies and do a few sessions, but it's great when you're learning a track. There's nothing like physically driving a racetrack. You can look at video data, but nothing does justice to where you want to really place your car, and it really transfers really well. I think you need to do it nowadays.
I'm Tyler Casera. I'm an at-large nominee here at the Shootout, Spec Miata racer, and won a couple championships in SCCA and NASA. You know, iRacing is, I think, a huge tool, great tool for me to prepare for race weekends and just hone my craft and stay sharp when I'm not actually at the track.
Hey, my name is Salim Rayan, 9th year Mazda racer. I currently race Spec Miata. Honestly, the first thing I thought of when I got in this car was how similar it is to iRacing.
Took us one final session, but we do have a winner of the $100,000 value scholarship into the 2018 Mazda MX-5 Cup, and that winner is Salim Rayan. Congratulations.
It's incredible knowing that now I'm a Mazda factory driver. I work for Mazda, Classic Mazda in Orlando, Florida, and now I'm a Mazda factory driver. It's kind of my life now, even more than it was before. Just a professional race car driver. That's what everyone's dream is, and my dream has become a reality.
One driver of note, John Allen, came here today mainly with an iRacing background, and you know, it was pretty impressive actually, I must say, how he started off, that he drove 3 sessions, every session solid improvement, lap times were coming down. I was very impressed actually with his approach, and a lot of that comes through the iRacing, and you really see how beneficial that is for these drivers trying to come up through the ladder.
I've just started to watch my son get involved in iRacing, and it wasn't available when I was around, so I'm really captive now about how it can increase the ability for a driver to come to a racetrack and know the racetrack and really have a good feel of what to expect, and we're seeing that with all the iRacing competitors that we've had come through the program so far. And this year with John Allen, and I've already said this to him, remarkably impressed with how well he has done.
So through
time for Red Bull Global Rallycross. It's all on Racespot TV, streaming live on iRacingLive for Dirt Night yet again for another time here. And wow, we are at Daytona, the old Daytona 07 for the long Rallycross circuit. Most of you would know this layout as well. It was one of the first introduced to iRacing way back in the day, a few months ago in 2017. But today, we're ready for another round. We're missing a big name. We could see another big winner here. 2 weeks in a row without Mitchell de Jong, who will take the crown of Red Bull GRC champion for this week without the big Mitchell on the grid this afternoon. Jonathan Simon in the commentary booth alongside Randolph Chenowth presenting to you Red Bull GRC action. Now, one thing before we continue is next week, this will be about 24 hours later than usual. It'll be on the Saturday, not Friday night as well, but it will be at the same time as always, so definitely don't miss it. But Randy, no Mitchell de Jong here today. That's the big news.
Yeah, no Mitchell de Jong. As qualifying is currently in full swing right now. Yoni Häkkinen on the top of it, but Mitchell, I know that he's fighting some tendonitis, and when it's ever the eve of a big World Championship level race, he tends to take the night off. He did that before the Blancpain GT World Championship season opener at Bathurst. That allowed Race Clutch driver to take the win there, and then, of course, he's doing it because you have a nice little season opener for the World Championship tomorrow at Interlagos.
Yeah, that's about 12 hours time as well. It'll be on Racespot TV and iRacingLive as well, specifically at 1:30 p.m. GMT. Don't miss it, but as Randy said, we are in qualifying at the moment. These drivers are in a private session right now. The driver of Yoni Häkkinen coming towards the latter stages of this lap. And talk about this circuit, Randy, the difficulties of it. You have that tarmac section to end the lap. Very simple joker as well, but this is one of the basic layouts that really gets drivers to know what GRC is all about.
Yeah, it really is. As we're riding on board with Mr. Connor Parisi as he heads down towards the fast chicane. It is a very technical layout as Connor, well, he gets it all sorts of wrong through that chicane. Mr. Johan Hart, he's already run his laps in that Race Clutch Ford Fiesta, but the main thing that, at least to me, that's difficult about this track is maintaining the traction through that hairpin at the top of the lap. There is a real layout that ran here at Daytona, but this is sort of an iRacing imagining sort of a new potential layout, and that hairpin at the top end of the racetrack is not one that was used in real life. That is, in my opinion, the most difficult corner on the racetrack. But getting through that dirt chicane and then back up and over the jump and then through the next left-right is very, very difficult and technical as well.
Yep, and as we know, 2 heats coming up as well. The drivers, well, 4 of them will advance to the feature race in that consolation round as well. We'll place another driver as well into that feature round too. So that will be coming up shortly, but right now Yoni Häkkinen looks pretty quick, and Johan Hart, we're looking to see what we saw from him last week as well. He showed some great talent.
Yeah, he did. There's still a number of drivers. Johan's already done his laps, and Connor Parisi once again messes up that chicane. So he's, I think, already done with it a lot of times. He's trying to find someone who's on a hot lap out there on the track right now. I think that we're pretty much already done with the allotted laps. Yeah, I don't see anyone that owes us any more times. But you're absolutely right. Johan Hart's a very, very fantastic final round to be able to steal away a win from Mr. Stilian Chipolevsky at that final race. I don't think he was particularly happy about that, but I think Johan being the only person outside of Mitchell to win an event likely ecstatic.
Yep, and that's obviously broadcasted events too, because Mitchell hasn't attended every single hour of every single GRC event.
Mitchell is 100% win rate right now on Global Rallycross.
Yeah, he's every race he's attended, he's just been absolutely dominant. Of course, real-life Red Bull GRC driver as well, so Mitchell de Jong more than experienced in these cars. Do you think he has to practice at all when he comes to these races?
I know that he likes to. Mitchell likes to be prepared. He is a man of good mental preparation. It's just the way he is. I've talked to him on several occasions, and I think that's part of the reason we don't see him here tonight. But 11 cars. We're going to have 4 transfer from each heat race, and then 3 drivers will fight it out for those last 2 spots in the feature, Johnny. It's going to be an exciting one. We're 20 seconds away from kicking off Dirt Night Season 2 here on Rallycross. Get ready to take us down our Heat 1 grid.
Yep, it'll be out there in a second, but Yoni Häkkinen top of the timing sheets in qualifying. I'm just looking at JB Masita doing a few practice starts. That's very important too. But season 2 action, we're back again. We weren't sure of it, but hey, we're here again, and the World Championship will be out in a few months' time as well. Pro Series, as we know, taking place too. But let's have a look at your Heat 1 grid. Yoni Häkkinen, we know, on pole position alongside Georgi Zajon, and then followed by Daniel Ackland, James Eddins, Anton Carlson, Matt Hartley. That's your 6-car field for this first heat at the moment. They're all taking to the grid. Randy, who are you tipping to win?
Yoni Häkkinen.
Yeah, he looks too dominant, doesn't he? Good qualifying time as well. He'll take to the grid at the moment here for the first race of Season 2 for the Red Bull GRC Series. Few seconds to go. The engine's rev. Heat 1 is green. Great start from Ackland. He's on that outside line as well. Heikkinen, though, has the inside, and that's going to give him all the advantage as well. He's getting turned around almost. He just saves it. Now he makes contact with Daniel Ackland on the exit, and there, look in front. It's the number 10 of Georgi Zadzon, and he's all the way up into the lead as well. Chaos as they go over the bumps too. Still contact near the back of the pack, isn't there? So Edens, Ackland as well. Heikkinen now right behind Georgi Zadzon. There you go, Randy. Down near the back of the pack, it looks like Hartley's all clean now.
Yeah, he really is right now. As you're going to see Joni Heikkinen, he's going to take the Joker here early. Daniel Ackland, interestingly enough, is slow. What's happened to that 8 car?
Oh, the 8 car, there we go. So I don't know if he's broken anything on that Volkswagen at the moment, but you can see there, he just slowed down. It was at that difficult hairpin as well, so he might have had some hardware issues, but that at the moment gives the lead to Joni Heikkinen. He's gotten past Georgi Zadzon, and now Georgi finds himself in the 2nd position. Hartley now 3rd in this heat at the moment, so good stuff from Hartley, who started near the back of the pack with a slow qualifying time. Edens behind, and then Carlson, of course, in 5th position, so Ackland's got a lot of time to make up.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to make that up. He's going to have to do this through the last transfer race in this one as they work themselves now towards the end of lap number 2. Get your ticker rolling across the top of the screen. It's 1.5 second gap from Joni Heikkinen to Georgi Zadzon as they work themselves through this tight chicane. Matt Hartley and James Edens, they're very close, but I honestly think, Jake, we're not going to have people fighting too hard with this. The top 4 have a nice little gap for themselves, and those 4 are going to transfer. So right now, if you're Joni, Georgi, Matt, or James, there's no reason for you trying to fight with someone and pick up a spot because you're already through to the feature.
Yeah, exactly. So lap 4 or 5 about to begin, or lap 3 or 5 at the moment. Right now, Heikkinen, yeah, he looks clean. You're right. He just needs to take it easy. Take that Joker if they haven't already. And he goes through the jump as well. This is the difficult part of the circuit, isn't it? The jump, because you're not really straight lining it. You're coming off a very difficult left-hander. And then obviously you have to avoid those tire bundles that always flop back onto the circuit.
Yeah, it's so tricky to be able to hit that jump right. You come up and over the top, and you need to be careful. One, you need to have the car pointed straight, and you need to be sure to have the car flat. It's very easy to put the right side tires off the jump here. We're going to ride on board with Joni as he comes to the white flag lap through into the asphalt hairpin, the International Horseshoe that everyone from GT Racing should be familiar with, under the Red Bull Bridge and through the chicane. And look how you have to set the car up. You need to be just perfectly on the right side of it, and immediately you get it sideways for this chicane at the end of the sector.
Oh, he's under control, isn't he? Joni Heikkinen on this final lap, but as you say, Zadzon, Ackland, Edens, they all look like they're going to go through to that feature because Anton Carlson, who's 5th in this heat, is a bit too far behind. So if you're James Edens right now, you just want to keep it cool through these final few corners, through the very difficult hairpin here at Daytona. Oh, Edens was close to that wall, wasn't he? But there's Joni Heikkinen as well. He's going to take the Heat 1 victory, and we tipped him for it. All clean for him. There we go. Good stuff from Joni Heikkinen. Georgi Zadzon in the 2nd position. Ackland and Edens will have a few more seconds to go. Sorry, not Ackland, isn't it? Edens and then Matt Hartley.
Matt Hartley and Edens. Anton, yeah, Ackland's dead last in this one.
Yeah, so that's my timing screen out of order, but there we go. Hartley, Edens through. Carlson and Ackland are the 2 that aren't going to go through.
Yep, those are the 2 drivers. They're going to fall a little bit short, so they're going to have to race their way in. But now it's time for a potentially really competitive heat race number 2.
Yep, so heat race number 2. We look at your grid. Johan Hath, who is very quick. We know what he's going to do in this heat. Of course, he's going to blister away from the line. Graham Bowland. Sindre Setsas, too. He wants to make up for some promising performances. Connor Parise. J.B. Masita. We saw him practicing starts. Let's see if he can get off the line quite cleanly here for heat number 2. All 5 drivers ready to go. Few seconds to go until we go green. Boom, lights go out. Good start there from the second position of Graham Bowland. Already defends the inside from Johan Harth. He knows who he has to beat right now, but he butchers the braking zone. Johan Harth slots himself straight through into the first few corners. Good stuff from him as well. Look who's in the second position. It's Connor Parise. Good start from Connor Parise already, Randy.
Connor's been very good in these cars. He's just been someone who can generally, through good patience, work his way up through these races. He's done that throughout the entire championship, and now he might be able to get himself a nice starting spot for week 1 here in season 2 of Dirt Night. Work themselves through the tight hairpin and off towards the S's section here, and the top 2 of Johan and Connor already have a nice little gap for themselves as behind a 3-car train. They're going to continue to fight.
Yep, and a joker taken for Johan Harth as well. And we also see the driver of Graham Bowland taking a joker too, and he's just made himself into the second position. So Connor Parise with some traffic here. He should have elected to take that joker, I think.
You're absolutely right. That's very bad strategy there from Connor. It's the basic strategy of Global Rallycross is maintaining clean track and a clean windshield out in front of you. You don't want to see any traffic, especially slower traffic. Graham Bowland going to try to yoink that handbrake through the hairpin. Doesn't quite get it turned around as quickly as Connor would like. And I think 100% we're going to see Connor elect to take the joker right here, right now. He won't be able to reel in Johan Hart, but he should be able to jump Bowland, and hopefully we'll get clear of the likes of Masita and Setsas.
Yep, 2 drivers taking to the joker. One of them is Sindre Setsas. He goes through now into the 4th position, so he has to break away from JB Masita, who's the only driver not to take that joker in this event right now on lap 3 of 5 for heat 2. Only 4 of these drivers are going to go through to the feature, as we know. But Johan Harth there, clean in the lead. No one's going to touch him for the rest of this event. Connor Parise in second now. It looks all clean with him, though. We can't forget that the top 4 is what matters.
Yeah, top 4 is the big thing, and that's why these guys are being so patient, because there's only 5 cars. Only 1 of you are not going to the feature, so you have to make the end of this thing. I believe we have someone taking the joker out near the front. Not sure who that was. Nope, that's just me. My ears deceiving me. Connor Parise still in that 2nd spot. See him working his way through as Graham Bowland still followed by Sindre Setsas. Sindre's just going to try to manage that gap, and now it's all eyes really on when JB Masita is going to elect to take that joker. He's taken it already.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. So JB Masita still needs to take that joker, because I think he'll get that top 4 spot. He just has to time this right now and stay close to Sindre through this final section. He's already lost a lot of time. Let's have a look at JB Masita. He has to take it this time around for sure. And he elects not to. So maybe he's going for it on the final lap. I definitely did not see JB Masita take a joker in this race.
He hasn't. I've confirmed that he has not. I actually like this call for him because he's so close to Sindre Setsas. Because Sindre has cars in front of him, it doesn't matter if JB Masita gets slowed down. He just needs to manage the gap, and the fact that he can take the joker, I don't think he's just going to pass Sindre. He's going to jump at least up to Graham Bowland. I think he's going to finish 3rd in this with his joker. He might have an outside shot of even jumping Connor and stealing that 2nd spot away.
Yeah, that'll be important for position come that feature race later on in this event for Red Bull GRC action from Daytona. Here's JB Masita going for the joker. Where's he going to end up here as we look at Johan Harth? He takes the victory. Parise as well. Where is JB Masita?
P3.
He comes home in the 3rd position. Good stuff from JB Masita. Graham Bowland just stays in that 4th position ahead of Sindre Setsas. And that means, Randy, we go to this very small 3-car consolation field, which has Anton Carlson, Sindre Setsas, and the driver of Daniel Ackland.
Yeah, 3 very big names between Anton, Sindre, and Daniel. And I have to say, I think Daniel and Sindre, just on pure pace here, Johnny, are probably my 2 favorites to transfer here. But the thing is with Rallycross is you never know, and it's only going to take 1 mistake. And the thing is, we saw good patience from guys in that last heat race. I think you're not going to see that same patience here over this 6-lap consolation race. As everyone's on the grid, we're beginning to build. We're going green.
Here we go. Engines rev. Green flag for the consolation race. Ackland, another good jump as well from him. Where's Setsas going to end up here at the start? He's 3 wide in the middle. Turned around, isn't he, by the driver of Anton Carlson. And he keeps it together, though, Sindre Setsas. Carlson in the Fiesta into the 1st position there. Setsas in the Volkswagen in 2nd. The other Volkswagen of Ackland in 3rd. So very almost a dramatic start there, Randy. But they all keep it together.
Everyone keeps it together for now. They're playing relatively nice with one another here at the start. Question's going to be is who jokers and who doesn't on this first lap, because I think the main thing, Johnny, is that because it's such a low car count, I think the joker strategy isn't quite as important, because if you get jumped by someone, the fact that there's so few cars means that it's not as big of an issue. Anton Carlson's going to go for it. Sindre Setsas takes a normal lap, and same with Daniel Ackland. So if Sindre can reel in Anton through these next handful of laps, he'll be able to do essentially what we just saw from JB Masita and be able to make up an easy spot towards the end of this B main.
Yeah, good point. And we mustn't forget as well, only the top two will go to the feature race from this consolation round. So this consolation heat. So at the moment, it looks like Ackland, who's all over the place this heat, he takes some different lines, doesn't he, into corners, and definitely practiced it a lot differently, but at the moment, it doesn't seem to be quick lines at all.
Well, one of the major things, of course, is the fact that the track surface will change as drivers drive over the dirt. The fast line will slowly start to evolve. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the Joker Delta. We generally kind of project the Delta being about 2.5 seconds here at Daytona. And right now, Sindre Setsas, who's yet to take it, is only a second and a couple tenths off the rear of Anton Carlson. So right now for Sindre, although he's yet to hit the Joker, Johnny, he's looking in very good position to hop that number 6 Fiesta when he elects to take the shortcut.
Yep, exactly. So that all matters when it comes to position to start that final heat, the feature race. Who's going to go for the Joker this time around? Running on lap 3 of 6 right now. Ackland goes for the Joker. Will he jump Sindre Setsas? That's the question here for Daniel Ackland. Well-timed Joker lap from Daniel Ackland.
Thing is, right now, if I'm Sindre Setsas, 3 laps to go, I am not worried about that fact whatsoever. Because I had a nice little buffer on Ackland. Yeah, I think we're going to lose the back of Anton maybe, and maybe lose that Ford Fiesta. But I think if you're Sindre, you come down, you hit the Joker right here, right now, and you easily jump Ackland right back.
Yep, so no panic from Sindre, who's hasn't had the best of luck already this round at the start of season 2 for the Red Bull GRC series, but where's he going to end up? There we go, Joker as well. So he's going to make up that position as well. I don't think he's going to get Anton Carlson. He could possibly actually get Anton Carlson. No, I got too excited there. I think here they go over the jump as well, but Setsas finds himself in the second position, and he looked very wobbly on the exit of that jump.
Yeah, that he did, and they have 2 laps to go, and Carlson needs to try to break away here, and most importantly, Daniel Ackland, he needs to find somehow, some way to get around Sindre Setsas. Going to throw a bit of a move at the hairpin, but not close enough, but he's right on the rear end of Sindre. Where is he going to send it? We have a lap and about a quarter left.
Yeah, I think that was his best chance there. He went all for it. Threw all his chips into one move, and it didn't work out for him. He's now lost a lot of time as well. He looks like he's almost a second back on Sindre Setsas. So there we go. White flag waves. Final time around for these 3 in the consolation heat. Well-timed jumps from all of them. Here they go as well through the middle section. So difficult to get traction out of this corner as well. Ackland, though, it looks like he might be the one who's going to miss out here.
Yeah, I have to agree. They head through the hairpin at the top end of the circuit and begin running their way down. It's going to have to be a big move from Daniel, I think, but I don't think there's any way he's going to make this stick. And I think we're going to see Anton Carlson take this, because I don't see Sindre risking anything either.
Anton Carlson will win the consolation race, and he will go through to that feature round. Same so for Sindre Setsas, who comes home in second. Daniel Ackland, unfortunately, will be the one to miss out. His day is done here on Dirt Night for Red Bull GRC action. That was it for your consolation round. Let's get ready for that feature race, Randy.
Let's get ready indeed, and it's time for you to head down our starting grid.
So Joni Heikkinen in first, followed by the driver. Oh, Sindre Setsas.
Johan
Is
Hart.
that correct as well?
Johan Hart,
excuse me.
You can't see it, but I can. Johan Hart in second, with Georgi Zadzon in third. Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley, JB Masita, James Edens also taking the start in this one, with Graham Bolin, Anton Carlson, and Sindre Setsas rounding out this 10-car field.
Yep, so there they all are, and ready to go here for this final heat. Green flag away for the consolation round. Oh, very close at the start between all of them. Look at that front row as well. Heikkinen and Hart make some contact up the inside as well. No move there. It seems that someone went missing for a second, but they're back on screen. Georgi Zadzon in the 4th position as well. Look who is in that 2nd spot there. Connor Parise, great start from him, and boom, over the bump they go, and all clean.
Connor Parisi's doing a very good job here. Currently sandwiched by a Black Star car, as well as the race clutch machine. Johan Hart's going to look up the inside, but it's all the blue oval right now out in front. Fiesta, Fiesta, Fiesta. We saw Volkswagens very quick last season, but Johan Hart, he smells blood in the water here on the opening lap, and he wants Connor Parisi. Which ones will take the Joker? Connor's going to take it. Johan is going to hop around the outside, and Georgi's heads on. I don't think he quite knew what he wanted to do, and then he got kind of an awkward line going into that normal hairpin as you see another Joker as well. That's going to take out Johan.
Yep, Johan Hart, he's made some contact, and now calamity behind Zadzon. Oh, and Hart is on his roof, I think. He's up over the barrier almost. Carnage behind as well. Another Beetle is off the racetrack too. So again, Johan Hart didn't take the Joker, and somebody rejoining the circuit there caused some chaos.
Yep, getting a replay right here with James Edens on this Joker, who I think rejoined a little bit sillily, but then again, actually, you know what? In second look at that, I think Johan kind of cut across there. And James, well, he didn't do a very good job holding the brake, did he? I have to say that's 100% on James Edens. The initial incident, not so much, but the fact that he let the car roll across the racing track like that, rookie mistake. Number 1 rule is hold that brake until traffic's gone through, and I think that 3 car, just simply put, got a little bit too apprehensive.
Yep, and Setsas seems to be doing well off of this as well. He's got some damage in that Beetle, but so far he's just ahead of James Eden. We don't know how much damage Edens has after his contact with Johan Hart there, but Hart is out of the race. Hartley is in 9th, so Hart, the only driver who will not finish this feature race at the moment. He's going to have a DNF to his name as well, not DRS. Joni Heikkinen, though.
F1's tomorrow, clean. Johnny, come on.
Exactly, I'm going to get in set. And he's going to Parisi, boom, good jump from him. And he lands it perfectly too. So they've got a great lead here on JB, Masita, and the rest of the field. I've been very impressed today, Randy, by JB Masita.
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, we saw it all last season, and as much as I love the Dirt Night stuff, we've been getting robbed of good races in our features because people so long get involved in an incident and they're in such a rush to rejoin that they cause a secondary pileup. The fact that 1 car spinning in the chicane means that we have 2 cars with a 7-second lead over everyone else. Kind of takes the hype out of it. So really unfortunate that James would do that to us.
Yeah, so still lap 5 of 10 now. So already almost halfway through this race as Heikkinen just looks clean. He's been dominant. You tipped him for victory too, and I don't know if you meant that for overall round, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for it. Parisi 2nd, Masita all clean in the 3rd position. Everybody's really spread out, aren't they, at this stage of the race too? Matt Hartley, though, very close to Sindre Setsas here. They go through this very difficult middle section, probably the most difficult section on the circuit, I reckon, to get traction.
Yeah, I think so. It's that or the hairpin, I think, are easily the 2 most difficult sectors. The main thing with the hairpin is that there's so many different ways you can take it. Some people like to snatch the handbrake and they head for that hairpin at the top of the circuit with the gravel sector, but the problem is you don't want to really do that because whenever you're on the gravel, your main priority needs to be established traction and keep the car driving forward, but whenever you yoink the handbrake, you basically just guarantee yourself the fact that you're not going to have traction getting onto the dirt. So it's relatively difficult regardless here. Sindre is still doing a good job fighting with Matt Hartley. A couple guys really deep down the order, but outside of that, gaps are still pretty big as we're coming towards 4 laps to go.
Yeah, where Sindre is losing time is that jump. He seems to be all over the place.
I think that car is broken and making it really difficult for him to take it straight, to be honest.
Yeah, I was just watching him through the hairpin too. It was not easy. So if Sindre is keeping that car on the racetrack and on the tarmac right now, that's impressive. Look at him go. As Hartley, though, goes for the Joker. He hasn't taken his Joker, and perfect timing for him as Setsas struggles to keep that Beetle on the racetrack. That's some of the most impressive car control I've seen. Boom, there we go. And this time he actually looks clean over the jump.
Yeah, we're gonna ride on board with Sindre here for a little bit, see how broken that car is. Let's see, just look where he has to hold the wheel here. Yeah, he's holding that wheel almost 90 degrees to the left. We'll get a good idea down these S's. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of straights here on Rallycross tracks to really get an idea how bent the steering is, but He's doing a lot of steering to the left. You can see he's sawing at that wheel to try to keep that car tracking in some direction that seems straight, and he's going to yoink on the brakes, and yet again, that rear end gives a nasty wiggle, and Cendray's not going to get to the apex, but it's difficult to do so when you're having to saw at the wheel like that to keep the car moving forward.
Yeah, and there's no point, obviously, making a pit stop because you're already going to lose like 3, 4, 5 laps by the time that car's fixed. And tire bollard though, that's not going to help set Sass's chances here. Only a couple of laps to go, of course, and this is the closest battle on the racetrack. Zadzon as well, another DNF to the field. Yorgi Zadzon, he's had a good event, Randy, but it's all about this feature race, and now he's going to have nothing to show for his strong pace in those heats.
Yeah, really unfortunate. So too bad there for the most part, as it is really right now. We're going to switch the cameras over. He's had a relatively quiet race, and you may not believe it given the damage on the front, but Joni Häkkinen been absolutely pretty much flawless all night tonight. You say Yorgi had a good night, but Joni pole dominated his heat, and well, out to a nice 5-second gap over Connor Parisi here as he's going to take the white.
Yep, so there we go. Final lap for Joni Häkkinen. Oh, don't bin it, Joni. He's all over the place on that job. Has he spun it? I'm getting too excited, aren't I? He's all under control. I should never doubt him ever again. Joni Häkkinen has only a couple corners to go. He's actually got James Edens up ahead and we could lap, so hopefully James doesn't get in the way, of course. But what an event from Joni Häkkinen. 2 more corners to go. Connor Priest, after that brilliant start, could do nothing to steal the victory away from this guy, the number 4 of Joni Häkkinen. He will win Week 1, Season 2 of the Red Bull GRC Series. Good stuff from Joni Häkkinen. What a victory from the number 4 in that brilliant event there. Connor Priest comes home in second. JB Masida there will round out the podium for your Red Bull GRC Series from Daytona. And Randy, Anton Carlson fourth, Graham Bowlen will come over the line in 5th. There's your top 5 as well. But again, Bowlen doing some nice showboating across the finish line. Joni Häkkinen, though, let's look to him. Burnouts away.
Yeah, he's hooning it here up near the hairpin, and I think Joni, excuse me, the very, very happy camper in that Black Star Racing machine, just burning all 4 of them down thanks to the 4-wheel drive.
So we'll look at your results as well. Matt Hartley came home in a 6th position in the end as well. Setsas unfortunately only had 7th place to show for it, of course. Eden's there down the order on your screen too. And the 2 DNFs for this round were Zadzon and Johan Hart. What could have been if everything stayed clean for Johan Hart. He actually timed it perfectly, not taking that Joker as the right time, but surely these guys will discuss that all after the race. But it was Joni Häkkinen who claims victory for this week of the Red Bull GRC Series. Any final comments, Randy, on that? I love that event. First time we've been in a booth together too.
Yeah, the first time you and I doing commentary. For those who are unaware, we are going to be your Red Bull Global Rallycross World Championship commentary team. So you'll be enjoying myself and Mr. Yanni Simon for the next 3 months, getting ourselves ready. So while the drivers try to get themselves some black stripes, Johnny, we need to get ourselves some black stripes for commentary.
Yeah, we got to earn it too. We got to earn it. Well, we're building chemistry every now and then.
Yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work with a teammate like this.
Oh, thank you. Let's speak to Connor Priest, who came home in second. Connor, great event from you. Talk about the start in that final feature race. That's where it all counted for you.
Yeah, I got a good start. It just all worked out. His second and third seemed to tangle a little bit. I was able to sneak up the inside, and it was just kind of smooth sailing from there.
What were you lacking in terms of pace to Joni Häkkinen? Because after the start, you pretty much had the clear track, but he just seemed to run away from you lap after lap. Is there something you can do to improve next week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not up to like alien pace like Joni and Mitchell and Stellian are. But once I saw I had the clear track, I just wanted to take it easy and not, throw it away like we've been seeing some of the podium finishers been doing in the past broadcasts.
And finally, you're going for the World Championship, I assume. You're going for those black stripes.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's going to be me, JB, Stellian Chepolewski, John Fox, and our team manager, Joe. We're just launching this brand new team, and we're going to be a powerhouse. So watch out, everybody.
There you go. And final thing as well, you got to be impressed by JB's work today. He really earned his money.
Yeah, coming in at the number 11 car, he puts on the podium. It's been great. We've been practicing all week, and everything's starting to click together pretty nice.
Yeah, perfect. There you go, Connor Priest. Thanks for your time. Brilliant event from him. He came home second overall in that feature race. Randy, great event from Connor Priest.
Yeah, he's really done a good job for himself. We saw him last season. He generally would struggle to finish well in the heats, and he wouldn't have the greatest starting positions because of that in the feature races. But he did a fantastic job in those races to always get himself through, and throwing a little hot fire. There he is right there at some of the podium guys who would tend to struggle. Connor's someone who consistently got in the top 5 just for avoiding those turn 1 incidents. So well done to him.
Yeah, exactly. It was all about that start as well. And yeah, I don't want to just say it was just a start, but he had to earn it in other areas too. So there you go. JB Masida, who came home in 3rd, will be alongside Randolph Chenowth.
Yep, I'm stood by with JB. JB, nice 2nd, 3rd place run for you and Connor. The teammates running the same paint schemes, Ford Fiestas as well. Matter of fact, I think we had Ford Fiestas rounding out the podium tonight. How was that a number 11 car?
Well, that was very unexpected. I wasn't even sure that I'd get to race in the first split, to be honest. I thought I'd be in the 2nd split. So then I got a bit lucky in the features, and I could get into 3rd. Then it was just pushing until the end.
Now looking forward towards the World Championship, because I think that's one of the big things myself and Mr. Johnny are going to be talking about all season long is really just keeping a close eye on those pro qualifiers, and then taking a look at who's going to be getting the pro licenses once it all is said and done. What do you think we're going to be seeing, and who are your predictions for people you expect to be quick, and are there any surprise entrants that you think might have the chances to get their black stripes that a lot of people might not be looking at just yet?
Well, that's a very tough question. I haven't done. This is my first dirt night, so I don't really know all of the top guys. I can't really answer your question. I hope I'll have a black stripe at the end. Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, we look to see you have a strong run, JB, regardless. Always nice to have some of the Dirt Night guys, and I'm just sad that you and Connor ditched the Reddit paint schemes. That makes me a very, very sad person. But regardless, JB, congratulations to the run from you. Before we let you go, shout out to who gets it done for you and Connor.
Well, thank you for having me, and special thank you to Joe, who set up the team. Congratulations, you're doing a great job, man.
Well, a man of few words is Mr. JB Masida, Johnny.
Yeah.
But that's all right, because he gets his talking done out there on the track and finishes in the podiums and top split broadcasted races. So maybe we should all learn to talk less.
I was very impressed by that race. I mean, to come home and not even expecting to be in this top split. He was the last driver to make this top split as well, and to end up on the podium. That's great confidence going into the Pro Series. To make the World Championship for Red Bull GRC action. Any final comments, Randy, for this round? It was very exciting, by the way, even with no Mitchell de Jong.
Yeah, with no Mitchell de Jong, I suspect Mitchell's going to be taking a little bit of a sabbatical from the Friday night broadcast because his racing series is really getting ready to get busy, at least at VRS Kona Sport. He has a few months until the real-world Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship kicks off, but like to the World Championship this week, then next week the second round of the now VRS iRacing and GT World Championship coming at you from Sebring. So he's likely going to be, I don't think he's going to be a regular on these Friday night races, and I think that's going to make things very interesting out at the front, Johnny, especially next week at Iowa with that 11-second Joker Delta cutting out basically half the lap. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that Iowa Joker, is incredible, and you don't know what's going to go on as well. That will be, of course, not at the same time. It won't be Friday night, Dirt Night next week. It'll be Saturday, pretty much the exact same time as well. So don't miss it, of course. It'll be here on Racespot TV. Streaming live on iRacingLive. But that is it for Red Bull Global Rallycross Series action. I've been Jonathan Simon, Randolph Chenowth alongside you. He's going to join you next, of course, for your USAC 360 sprint cars. Don't miss it. most of all, we love you. See you soon.
actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Kieran Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the cars. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
I sat in the car, you know, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? You know, it was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. You know, my thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshields at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
From popular demand, we bring you USAC, the United States Auto Club, on Racespot TV and streaming live on iRacingLive. The USAC 360 Sprint Car Series practice coming to a close and qualifying getting ready to come underway. But Kris, it's been a full year pretty much of us showing World of Outlaw content, and it was time to change up the pace, take the tops off, and get rid of all that downforce. These cars are very, very quick, and they will be moving around a lot tonight.
Absolutely. These drivers are going to prove to you, the fans, that they don't need no stinking downforce here at Eldora Motor Speedway. These 360 sprint cars run without the wings tonight, pushing out about 720, about 750 horsepower, weighing 1,400 pounds. Going to be some awesome slipping, sliding, slide jobbing, awesome racing here from Eldora Speedway.
So qualifying currently being run right now, 15.4, currently the quickest time by Austin Selman. As you can see from the roll bar, these things are a lot busier behind the wheel, and if you watch, they get a lot more sideways than the winged cars do. The wings, what they pretty much do is, it's not so much they push the car into the dirt as much as they just push the car and hold it forward. They're going to bring up your timing panel right now. James Eden's currently on the pole. Alex Berger on second. Kevin Hawley rounding out your top three. Petri Katavara is unfortunately absent tonight, so everyone yell at him to get out of the gym and get into the sim and get here. I should have put that in the blitz shift competition. But regardless, lap time's coming through, and this is going to be an exciting night. And we're watching right now Jacob Melvin on his times, or on his qualifying laps in the 10.
Jacob Melvin running at 15.7. He's going to have to pick up the pace. Oh, that was actually his last lap there. He's run his course for qualifying, and now we see Joe Berkeley now on his final lap coming up, going into turn number 3, ripping that high side. What's he going to do? He's going to stay up there, doing an excellent job working that cushion. What's his time going to be? 15.387. Move him up to the 3rd spot in the number 14. Very fast lap there as we see someone else trying to look for someone else on their hot lap. Ryan J. Gordon, now our feature winner from the Midgets earlier tonight, now getting back out on track, going into turn number 3 for his first time lap all the way up by the cushion. Now kind of running somewhere in the middle, coming off turn number 4 to start his first green flag lap.
You know what? He won the feature for the Midget, so he gets this. We're going to do a little bit of Racespot TV fan immersion. This is a bit what these non-wing sprint cars sound like in real life. Enjoy this. Well, that's 720 horsepower coming to an abrupt end at the end of the qualifying session as well. I don't think it was quite the time that Ryan would have wanted there, Chris. We got heat race number 1 coming at you here in just a moment. And let's go down your starting grid for that. Bring it up right here on your screens. Heat race number 1, James Edens is going to be on the pole in this one. We just saw him in the Rallycross race. Also have the likes of Joel Berkeley, Austin Selman, Adam Elby, Vinny Sansone, Dave Bodio, Jacob Melvin, and A.J. Neben. So, handful of big names. Vinny's been around. Vinny's a big name mostly here, Chris. I don't know how much you've done, but Vinny is very, very quick in the asphalt sprints, the non-wing sprints. We've seen him in the wing cars. Doesn't quite have the normal speed in the dirt and the winged cars. I'm curious if Vinny might be a force to be reckoned with here without the wing on the dirt, the way he is on the asphalt.
Yeah, the asphalt sprint cars are definitely a handful. I would say they're just about as a handful, if not more than a handful, than the dirt non-wing USAC sprint cars. But he'll be rolling off, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on the inside. We'll see what he can do. Also, we have Adam Elby in the number 9 looking for a little bit of redemption from the midget feature. He'll be starting 4th here on heat race number 1.
So we come to the end of pace lap number 1. And James Edens will be leading us to green here on Racespot TV and iRacing Live for our first running of the United States Auto Club. And I am super excited here with this one. I love watching these non-winged cars run. I've seen asphalt versions at my old local track of Cajon Speedway, and I've seen the non-winged USAC 360 cars. Actually, I've seen 410 cars as well at the Paris Auto Speedway. Big crash from Marcus Niemela happened there a handful of years ago in these very cars right here. 360 non-wings. Green flag is going to fly. James Eden is going to lead them in towards corner number 1 and expect a lot of sideways action through corners number 1 and 2. James Edens hooks up the top, and they're fanning out nearly 4 wide down this back straightaway for the first time. And that's going to be the 9 of Adam Elby making a move on Semmelman, who gets that inside wall. Oh, who's at the 13 of Vinny Sansone? He gets physical 3 wide multiple times at the end of lap number 1.
Vinny Sansone, we have an issue. Huge wreck, one upside down in a huge way. That's the number 7 of Dave Bodio. He was definitely a force to be reckoned with before, in seasons before in these cars, but his heat race ended up, unfortunately, on his side. He's going to have to go to the B main.
So that was a 13 car of Vinny Sansone. I think they got into that, and he sort of caused couple incidents there. Got into it with the 9 initially, and then kind of slid up the racetrack into, I believe that's Austin Selman. Nothing Austin could really do there. That has to be, I think, in my opinion, all on Vinny. as they're still green here in heat race number 1. James Edens is out to a nice little gap over Joel Berkeley, who's just going to try to manage his gap more than likely, and who's currently scored in 3rd. Timing's kind of all shuffled right now because of that incident. Jacob Melvin has scored in 3rd in that red and white number 10 car. We have 3 laps to go.
Yeah, so far, Jacob Berkeley, I think he's just doing maybe a little bit of a gap control here. Maybe not trying to catch James Edens, but trying to keep a little gap between him and Jacob Melvin. So far, they've all been running really well up by the top. If they can make it stick, they can definitely make some quicker time there. As looks like 14 got a little bit close to the wall, didn't quite hit it, but if you jump that cushion, you're in for a wild ride, that is for sure.
You really are. Cushion hasn't been formed up too much, though, but white flag's going to be waving for James Edens out there in front. Lap counts are also going to be slightly less than what we typically see in the winged cars. Only going to be a 20-lap feature versus the 30 we typically see. But for James Edens, he's going to go down to the inside of that number 3 car, and he's going to win heat race number 1 here on Racespot TV and iRacing Live. Joe Berkeley will finish 2nd with Jacob Melvin, Adam Elby, AJ Neben, and Vinny Sansone rounding out your top 6. Those are the drivers who will qualify and go directly to the feature. A couple other drivers, though, Austin Semmelman, as well as Dave Bodio, well, in reverse order, Bodio and Semmelman 7th and 8th. They're going to have to do it through the last chance qualifier here, Chris, and I don't think they're going to be too happy about that. I think Austin's going to be pretty frustrated after the way he got hit there.
Oh, absolutely. That was just a case of maybe someone trying to throw a slide job, didn't quite know what they were doing, looked like a wheel-to-wheel contact, and that's not something you want to see in these sprint cars.
Yeah, definitely one of those things you do not, or you need to avoid. Let's take a look, though, at your starting grid for heat race number 2. And this is coming at you right now. Alex Bergeron and Kevin J. Hawley on row number 1, with Donnie Klein and Anthony Lepresto on row 2. Chad Robinson, Ray Farlow in row 3, with Ryan J. Gordon, winner in the midgets. We'll be rounding out the tail end of this one. Let's see if he can carry some of that speed. I see you guys in the chat chanting for the modifieds. Well, all I have to say to that is take a look at the sessions and look at this, take that into account. I'm the one who actually came up with the Dirt Night schedule, and what we need is about 45 minutes between official sessions. So it really is between the midgets and the UMP modifieds. Modifieds have a pretty big following. I want to give the midgets and the non-winged cars some love. Got to show USAC some love before we get to the World of Outlaw World Championships. But heat race number 2, currently getting gridded, and I think who is currently, I will honestly say, the best dirt driver on the sim right now of Alex Bergeron. He's proven himself in the non-winged sprint car, or excuse me, in the winged sprint cars, and he's proven himself in the late models, and he's already proving to be quick in these non-winged cars. So pace truck going to come down, and let's see if anyone is going to potentially prove me wrong as they head down towards pit road. Number 1 car of Bergeron going to be in command of the field. And in honor of Cam, it's a 1 Mississippi, and we are green in heat race number 2, and they're already fanning out 3 wide. The 11 goes to the bottom.
So Donnie Klein and the number 3, they're kind of got stuck in the middle, but so far they seem to be doing pretty good. Somebody on the bottom there, trying to see who that is. Can't quite see that number. Number 11, Chad Robinson, who's been doing great, looking for a slide job, couldn't quite get it done. Gets stuck on the bottom there a little bit. Maybe if that top wears in, that bottom might be the place to go. Coming out of turn number 4, we got a little bit of contact and some more contact. Chad Robinson escapes. He's going to move up into P number 2.
I don't know how that 11 car squeezed through that, but that was brilliant. Alex Bergeron, might I add, has checked out to a 1.2 second lead here. Chad Robinson 2nd. Anthony Lepresto is in 3rd. He got a little bit too sideways through 3 and 4. Watch for the 12 of Ryan Gordon, who's come from the back of this pack. He's already up to 4th. He's going to work the middle here on Lepresto. They're 3 wide off of corner number 2 and down towards your back straightaway.
Ryan Gordon trying to thread the needle there. Now it goes back up to the top. He may lose this next position here to Donnie Klein. Donnie Klein slides up in front of him. He gets a little bit into the wall. That might open the door for Ryan Gordon going down the inside. Going down to turn number 3, might try for his slide job. He's going to all the way up to the cushion. Almost took 2 cars with him, but with a crossover, Donnie Klein retakes the position.
So Donnie Klein getting aggressive here as there's 2 and some change laps remaining in this one. Bergeron is still checked out to a nice little lead here, and we're watching this fight right now with Gordon Klein as well as Anthony Presto, and there's 2 laps to go at the strike. 12 machine goes to the bottom. Ryan Gordon's going to try to slide up in front of Donnie Klein, and he's not quite going to be able to make it stick. Klein moves it back down to the bottom. Look for him to slide Ryan Gordon now. Meanwhile, Anthony Presto's up enjoying the cushion, saying neener, 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 as they come now towards corners number 1 and 2. 12 car back to the bottom, not quite going to be able to make it stick. That's going to give Donnie Klein the ability to reel in Anthony Presto. Anthony goes to the bottom trying to defend, but is that going to be his undoing? Bergeron's going to win heat race number 2, but it's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to win it? And it's going to be it's going to be Donnie Klein by 200ths of a second over Anthony Presto in heat race number 2 here on Racespot TV and iRacing Live. We do not have enough cars for a last chance qualifier, so we are going straight to the main. Chris, what a finish.
That was an excellent finish. Just barely, maybe a couple inches between those two. Definitely have very awesome finish there. I'm sure the crowd was just using the edge of their seat, because I know I was.
Well, let's hope so. And with that, let's pick up the music. Starting grid for your USAC 360 non-wing sprint cars here on Friday night, Dirt Night on Racespot TV and iRacing Live. James Edens and Alex Bergeron will be in command of the field on row 1. With, on the second row, you're going to have Joe Berkeley and Chad Robinson. Well, that's actually the wrong graphic. I thought it was right at first. Let's see if this one will work. This one shows it correctly. So Chad Robinson make up row 2. Jacob Melvin and Donnie Klein, row 3. Adam Elby and Anthony Lepresto, row 4. Vinny Sansone and Ryan Gordon, row 5. Row number 6, you're going to have AJ Neben with Ray Farlow. Dave Bodio and Kevin Hawley, row 7, with Austin Semmelman starting at the tail end of this field. Fireworks and all that coming to a close. Music gets turned down. Apologize for that rock and roll. But Chris, 20 laps. Are they going to keep it green? Who's your pick to win?
My pick to win is going to be James Evans in the number 3, currently our pole sitter here. But also, you can never count out Alex Bergeron. He's pro in just about everything. He's going to be starting on that outside, which is the preferred lane. But I'm going to say James Edens is going to hold it off here for 20 laps. Might see a yellow or 2, but this sure is going to be an excellent race.
Pace truck comes in the safety of pit road, and that all-white number 3, driven by James Edens, leads the field into 1 and 2. USAC 360 sprint car feature, first time on Racespot TV and iRacing Live, and they're fighting for the race lead already. 3 cars between Edens, Bergeron, and Berkeley, all fighting for that lead spot. See the 11 and the 10 as well. They're duking it out for 4th and 5th as James Edens is going to lead the first non-wing lap here on Racespot TV and iRacing Live. One of Bergeron tags the outside wall just a little bit, but enough suspension travel in these non-wing cars. He keeps it going.
Yeah, Bergeron got up into that wall just a little bit, may have hopped that moisture cushion, but he's still going. That allows Edens to gap Bergeron just a little bit. Here comes the 14 of Joe Berkeley now, trying to look for second place. He's running that high side to perfection. Now, I thought it was going to go a little bit lower. He's still running that cushion, maybe trying to reel in Selman just a little bit more. Or not Selman, rather, Bergeron.
You see Bergeron riding on board on his right rear. You see how close they have to get these things to the outside wall. First 4 laps scored under green flag conditions here at Eldora. 9 car of Adam Elby. He's fighting with Jacob Melvin. You see a trio of cars behind. That's Chad Robinson, Vinny Sansone, and Kevin J. Hawley. They're all fighting it out. It's pretty much the top side of the racetrack. Bit of a slider coming from Kevin there. Throwing it on the 13 of Vinny Sansone. Vinny wisely gets out of the throttle and moves Kevin up a spot. Is out in front. It's still all James Edens, and Bergeron is now dealing with that 14 of Joel Berkeley.
Going back up to Berkeley and Bergeron there. Bergeron still running that top side. It looks like Berkeley may have climbed that cushion a little bit as we have a yellow on the speedway.
Caution.
Oh, and Berkeley upside down in turn number 4. That's a huge for this race.
I don't think this is who actually brought out this caution. I think this is someone else. I think there's a different incident. But Berkeley, when that caution flew, I think made the mistake. This is 2, 3, and 4 just before. You see 1 and 2. and let's see what actually happens to Berkeley, because I think this was just a mistake as he tried to get out of that throttle. He tagged the wall a couple times entering 3, and he's just too hot going into 3 and 4. Even with the yellow out, Chris, he just threw away his own race. That is terrible for the 14 of Joe Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley was knocking on the door there of Alex Bergeron. I think he may have had something for him if this race would have gone green, but just got out of the throttle a little bit too harsh. It snapped the car straight, bounced off the wall a couple times, and just can't do that in these cars. It'll mess up the front end and the rear end as well. Unfortunately, that may be his race signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the situation there. And I think it's going to be double file restarts here in these sprint cars. Also, to iterate, I've said it, we've said it through the first 2 segments, but we know different audience members will come in through the broadcast as the race goes on, as the show goes on, I should say. Friday night Dirt Night next week will be Saturday Dirt Night as well as the week after, just so everybody knows that the field is going to be getting themselves single file. The one machine of Alex Bergeron is making the same mistake, I believe, that Austin Selman did, because he's trying to hold it too wide, and I don't think it's going to be that sort of restart, as if it is, the rest of the field has not formed up whatsoever. The 10 car is joining in for some reason. That is a lap down car. I'm not sure what Jacob Melvin is doing or why he's there, but he's in the middle of it, and if I was Jacob, I'd get out of the way, because you're going to have a lot of hard chargers coming through as we're back to green flag racing here at Eldora.
Absolutely. I'm not quite sure what he was doing, but that may have upset Alex Bergeron just a little bit. He may be driving over his head now, trying to catch back up to James Edens. And we are currently halfway through this race as Alex Bergeron still banging the right rear off that cushion, selling t-shirts up top.
They're 3 wide for third just for a moment. That's going to be Adam Elby, Chad Robinson, and Kevin Hawley. Saw them fanning out down your back straightaway. Here they come to the front, got it relatively single file though, as they head now towards 1 and 2, and still trying to work that top side is that 11 machine of Chad Robinson. He wants to sell a t-shirt or 2, hand out some stickers to the kids in the pits after this one. Only a handful laps here as the 9 car of Adam Elby gets a little bit too high up the racetrack as these USAC cars putting on a fantastic show. 9 car up in the wall, and that's going to bring us back under yellow for sure.
Oh, a couple more cars collected. Yellow finally coming out now. That's a shame for Adam Elby. He was doing very well, definitely making up for his midget main event, but unfortunately got collected there, and got his right rear up into the wall. And once you do that hard enough, you're basically done. And unfortunately, that's his race. So that's kind of been his luck this tonight so far.
So getting a couple angles of that coming at you. Unfortunate for that 9 car. I think it was just an individual mistake, similar from what we saw from Joe Berkeley, and pretty much exactly the situation. Couple of cars, unfortunately, not much they can do to avoid. I think it was Austin Selman who may have tagged just a piece of that as well. But that is going to bring us back down towards green flag conditions in a couple moments. And I think we're going to have, let's see, the lights out on that safety truck. I actually can't tell, as no, they are not. So we're going to have about 4 laps to go, I think, in this one when we go back to green flag racing. And I think right now, if I'm James Edens, I am a very, very nervous camper, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it that Alex Bergeron is very fast. But I believe it's all going to come down to this final restart. If James Edens can shoot off of turn number 4 like he's been doing, I feel like he's going to have this race pretty well covered. But you never know with Alex Bergeron, sorry. He may time that restart just a little bit better. I feel like it's going to come down to this. Lights are off on the pace truck and around the track. We're going green this time by.
4 laps remaining when they get to your start-finish line. As it's going to be all in command of James Edens once again. But what can that number 3 car do? Excuse me, that number 1 car do of Alex Bergeron? As field's going to come off corner number 4. Pace truck is going to hit pit. Oh, no, lights are still on. I thought the lights were out, Chris. Why are you doing this to me?
I thought
I'm sounding like Cam over here.
I guess the lights were not out. I can't quite tell right now, but I believe if I can get a better camera. Now the lights are out, so we will be going green this time by, for sure. Pinky promise. James Edens trying to time this restart really well. We're going to have 3 laps to go as the pace truck begins to pull in, and we're going to be going green.
And Alex Bergeron has already made a appointment with the Nerf bar. What a jump from the 11 of Chad Robinson. He's going to hop down to the bottom. Will he be able to slide up in front of Bergeron? No, has to lift way out of it. And that's going to give a big momentum advantage to your race leaders. Bergeron is hounding the back of James Edens. Both of them are riding the wall here at Eldora, famous for this sort of racing here. 2 laps to go. One of Bergeron is going to hop down the bottom. Can he slide? The 3 of James Edens. No, he can't. He lifts out of it. That's going to give Edens a huge margin as they get ready to come to your white flag. The 5 of Kevin J. Hawley, he found his way to the 3rd spot as now they come to your start finish line. White flag waving for the 3 of James Edens. Can he get it done? The 1 of Bergeron is definitely quicker, but can he find some way through? He's going to pull up alongside with the number 3 car. Can he make the slider work? This time through corner number 3 and 4. Edens in the wall, and Bergeron is going to make a last lap pass for the win on Racespot TV and iRacingLive's first time unveiling of the USAC cars, and what a win and what a pass for Bergeron at the end.
That might have been the best finish I've ever seen. Alex Bergeron with a picture-perfect slide job ends up taking the win after running bridesmaid for most of the race. Outstanding drive there for Bergeron, never giving up after being placed behind that lap car. He's going to go do some cyclones.
We're going to get a couple replays from that number 1 car. My voice started to let go right in the middle of that, so that's not always good, but get another look at that for that number 1 machine of Alex Bergeron, and this is why I said at the top of the show, why I think the top of his heat race, why I think he's currently the best driver on dirt right now in the iRacing service. I've seen him win in late models, I've seen him win in wing sprint cars, and now I've seen him win in this non-wing sprint car. I don't know if there's anyone who has anything for him right now on the sim. James Edens did a fantastic job to hold on to 3rd. Kevin J. Hawley was charging, trying to take it away, but what a finish from that 1 of Alex Bergeron.
Alex Bergeron definitely made that slide job work as like to perfection. If you've ever seen the slide job on YouTube with these with these USAC sprint cars, that right there was the definition of absolute pixel perfection. Congratulations, Alex Bergeron. Incredible win, and that race in totality was just absolutely incredible. I'm glad I was able to call the first USAC sprint car race in Racespot history.
Well, with that, I'm going to take you down your post-race results here from the USAC 360 non-wing cars. And, well, let's take a look. It was all Alex Bergeron at the end of it with a big win, something we're used to seeing in the final part of Friday Night Dirt Night. James Edens 2nd, Kevin Hawley 3rd, Robinson in 4th, Vinny Sansone in 5th, David Bodio in 6th, Donnie Klein in 7th, Austin Sebelman 8th, Joel Berkeley 9th, and Anthony Lepresto rounding out your top 10, and then the rest of your cars on your screen right now. Ray Farlow, AJ Neben, Jacob Melvin, Ryan Gordon, and Adam Elby. But with that, post-race coverage coming at you right now. As Alex Bergeron, he is not one to waste any time making his way to the commentary booth. We are stood by for post-race interviews with that number 1 driver of Alex A. Bergeron. Alex, it was a big move at the end of that one to make it stick and put the win on. You forced a mistake from James Edens, and you led only 1 lap, I think, all night outside of your heat race, and it's the one that counted. How you feeling?
That's pretty awesome. I don't run these quite often, so I was just staying patient. Being second, starting the race second, that was pretty awesome too. So I was just coasting around, and my first attempt at a slide job, I got loose on the bottom, but I keep my confidence for the next, the final lap. I was like, I'm gonna try to catch him back using the cushion up there, and suddenly I catch him, and I made a move in turn 3, and we won. So that's the only thing I know.
Now, we've been watching you for the better part of a year. I think it might actually be a year with this last build release on Racespot TV and on iRacingLive. We've seen you in the winged, the 410 cars. We've seen you as well in the super late models. You've really made a name for yourself, and I said it twice on the air, as the probably best dirt driver, in my opinion, on the sim right now. How do these non-winged cars compare? I know they drive a lot differently from the winged cars. And from my experience, they drive a little bit more like some of the bigger, heavier stuff in terms of how much you have to get them sideways. It almost feels a little bit more like a late model or maybe even a modified with how much slide you get into them. But they're much lighter and they're much more responsive, of course, on the throttle. How would you really describe driving these non-wing cars compared to the things with all the downforce?
I would say, like the real drivers say, I mean, you drive these things on the edge. you cannot be fast without being on the edge in these cars. You gotta really be close to the wall, and just, you know, you never know if you're gonna flip every lap. So that's how tough these things are.
And well, World Championship qualifiers, I know, is going to be taking the focus from a lot of guys here through this next couple weeks. Mondays are going to be the qualifiers for the sprint cars and the late models, and of course Thursday nights global rallycross. But I don't think we'll be seeing you in those. How much time, how much effort from you guys at VLR have gone into working on the setups for those 410 machines, as well as on the super late models, and getting those things going? Because those qualifiers start on Monday night.
I mean, we got the setup we've done for the season, like the season we got right now. I mean, we didn't work really for Pro Series. Just we're just gotta be patient, and you know, it's gonna be snake split, and I think so. You know, it's gonna be quite different than, you know, normal splits like tonight, and, you know, all the other official races. So it's gonna be a new experience, and you know, I mean, dirt with a new cushion, it's gonna be quite awesome. So maybe we're going to see some lap cars and more action and maybe more caution. We never know. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think Team VLR is ready for getting good results.
Well, thank you for joining us, Alex. Congratulations here from myself and everyone at Racespot TV and iRacingLive, so much so that I'll throw up the correct graphic at the end of the interview. I am indeed a professional producer here at Racespot TV. But well done, Alex. Great to see you show some good pace once again. Before we let you go, any shout outs, and who would you like to thank after another big win in Friday Dirt Night?
Yeah, for sure. All the guys at Team VLR for an awesome car tonight again, and shout out to Austin Sullivan for you know, coming from the back of the field to an 8th place finish after you know, a tough heat race. But you know, all my sponsors, Dirt Collective, the Drill Spill, Dirt Car Racing, Mart Inc., and you guys for broadcasting. It's always a pleasure to have you guys broadcast these races.
Well, thanks for that, Alex, and congratulations as well, might I add, for being the second Canadian of the week, as Keegan Lee took a race victory on NASCAR PK and Freeze iRacing Series on Tuesday. So you guys representing the Maple Leaf very well.
Thank you.
Well, Kris, what a run it was from these guys tonight. First time that we've seen these on-winged cars. I've watched them in real life at Paris several times, and they always put on a good show. And they put on a good show here at Eldora. I think the World of Outlaw guys need to learn how to get good.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. This race had me on the edge of my seat, and oh man, that is why that the USAC sprint cars are my favorite car on the service. You have to run right on the edge, literally on the edge of control, where if you get it wrong by maybe a couple inches, you can either gain a lot of time or you can be in the infield care center with a nice pack on your back and helmet in your hands, man. But that was an excellent race. Congratulations once again to Alex Bergeron on the win with that pick. Like I said many times before, picture perfect slide job.
And of course, looking our way forward, next week, these cars are going to be running at Volusia. And Eldora is probably, I would say, the simplest track that we have on the sim for these sorts of cars, Kris, especially the 360s, because I did some practice laps last night, and it's not quite flat out, but you can make some setup adjustments, and you can get it to where you're pretty much on the throttle in to a certain extent all the way around. You are having to lift, but it's not necessarily a complete lift. At least not for me. I probably wasn't going very fast. But once we get to Volusia, you're going to have these guys are going to be using the brake a lot more to get the car rotating, and probably being a lot more aggressive with how they come off the throttle to make the car rotate. And especially that track so much more narrow. That's, I think, where we're going to really start to see the cream of the crop, and then some of these best non-wing guys potentially start to pan out. We'll maybe even have an idea if some of the guys that were running, just people that just threw a setup together and could pin it and keep it up against the wall, and the difference between the guys who can really drive these non-winged cars.
Yeah, Volusia, I feel, is a great test of not only mental strength but physical strength, because you know, when you're going through the backstretch, you see that wall kind of jut out just before turn 3. There have been many a race that I've clipped that wall with the right rear, just barely, and completely ruined the race. But also you have to watch off turn 4, because that front stretch wall will jump out at you if you're not careful. I feel like we're going to see a lot of guys running up top, and then once they come off of 4, they might shoot down maybe around the middle, because they may have to overcorrect it just a little bit, try to get it away from that wall, because it'll definitely bite you if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the big things to work. I also did some laps around Volusia in the 410 non-winged car a while back, and exactly what you talked about, that wall that juts out on the back straightaway, it can be scary. But for all you guys that have tuned in, I thank you here, and everyone else here at Racespot TV, as well as on iRacingLive. Thanks you as well. Once again, next week, Friday night Dirt Night turns into Saturday night Dirt Night. It's going to be the same exact times for the splits, just 24 hours later as opposed to Friday night on Saturday night. We have a little bit of a scheduling conflict, but we're going to sort it out by just pushing Dirt Night to Saturday as opposed to not having it at all. For everyone else here at Racespot TV and iRacingLive, everyone who makes this possible behind the scenes, Will Vincent and Hugo Louis, as well as Kris Hohn, who joined me tonight for the USAC events, and Jonathan Simone, who led the show for the Global Rallycross race and everything else. Huge shout outs. If you're not done watching Racespot TV content just yet, be sure to tune in tomorrow morning for the season opener of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. See if Martin Kroenke can break the not the all-time wins record, but if he can break the most consecutive wins record tomorrow morning. Currently going, I believe, for 15 in a row in that VRS Twin Synsport machine. He is a man on a mission. And be sure to tune in next week as, of course, the iRacing Midget Cup, the Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship, and the USAC 360 Sprint Cars all come back for Saturday night Dirt Night on Racespot TV and on iRacingLive. Do we put Wheeler in the booth? Maybe not. We'll have to see in 8 days' time. We'll all find out. But until then, it's been Randy Chenowth, Kris Hohn, and Johnny Simone. Bye-bye.